India is a large country full of life and culture. There are so many great things that this country has to offer. But in the shadow of India's magnificent buildings are many who are suffering. Suffering from a lack of medical care and education that lifts them out of poverty. Child Impact International is directly involved in sponsorship that provides the means for an education to hundreds of children, and is now expanding to help those in India who are in desperate need of medical care. It all began with a man who grew up in one of Child Impact's orphanages, Aleem Home. His name is Dr. Swamidas.
Dr. Swamidas was a sponsored orphan at Aleem Home in Hyderabad. After being sponsored and having a full education, he then went on to get his doctor's degree, and that was by working at nights and studying during the day. He is now a fully accredited doctor in India. He dedicates his time to serving the poor. He came from a very poor background, he was an orphan, and now he runs his ministry serving the poor women, poor children in the city of Hyderabad.
The story begins during the early days of Aleem Home, an orphanage that Child Impact supports. Ravi, who was the sixth child to start living there, remembers meeting Dr. Swamidas for the first time.
So when he just came, he was very lean and little boy. But then we were about, I would certainly say I was about 6 plus, and Swamidas maybe about 3.5, I said 3 years. I remember, feeding him because he was too small. So he was like, we were very good friends. We were very much affectionate to each other. And that's how I know I'm very much associated with Dr. Swamidas at that small age.
At just 3 years old, Swamidas' father died from tuberculosis. His mother was unable to care for him, so Swamidas was taken to Aleem Home.
When I'm in Aleem, I forgot all those sadness, and I was happy that I was received very well, and everybody welcomed me with a smile. And at that time, I thought that I was in a right place where my life would change.
And change it did. The spirit of helping others, providing for their needs, shaped young Swamidas' life toward one of service to others. And while he had the desire to serve others, it wasn't until a certain moment when he realized just how he was going to do that.
So when I was in my 4th grade, suddenly I got fever. So one of my teen took me to a hospital or a small clinic which is available at our Aleem Home. So seeing the doctor, the way she approached me, or the way she talked to me, and the way she treated me, at that time I fixed my that this is a good job, so that I could serve the people who are suffering, or who in need, or who in pain. So that's where the doctor, the way the doctor talked to me impressed me, and put me a thought in my mind that I should become a doctor.
After leaving Aleem Home, Ravi and Swamidas lost touch with one another for many years. Ravi was working for Child Impact as a project manager and then a field officer, while Swamidas was going to school to become a doctor. One day they ran into each other.
And then I started talking to him, and then I started asking what exactly he's doing. Then he said, because I know him from childhood, and then I suddenly, my memories went back when we were kids, and then I could understand that he has his aim, actually his goal has become, his dream has become true. His dream has become true, and I was so happy when I started seeing his services. I was very much impressed, and immediately I told him I have a desire to work with you. And then he said, and he said, Brother Ravi, I would be very happy to have you as an elder brother to support me in the service that he's doing.
So he left his job and joined me doing the services, helping me out. His help is a great blessing to me. Without his help, I cannot sometimes run, because if I have to go with the patient, I have to close down the hospital and take him to the hospital. So that need is not with me. Ravi is to take the patient, is to follow the patient after the discharge also, and is to be a mediator between the doctor and the patient, because this rural patient cannot understand the doctor's language. So his need is a great help to me. So it will be easy for me to handle the cases. So that is how his help was very much in need of time.
The need that they are meeting is great. Every kind of need is brought to Dr. Swamidas' clinic.
Lot of people flow to my clinic every day, mostly the older people, the elder, as well as the children. So most of the cases I see from 1 month baby till 60 years old, because I am an emergency physician. So I could handle any case like in these situations. So I could give them the first aid which is necessary for them. So a lot of children I see, because they don't have proper food or balanced diet. So I mean to say balanced diet, because a lot of them in their diet they lack some proteins or some vitamins, and then due to that they fall ill. So they come, and then I'll explain to their parents, like, this is how you need to feed them, or this is how you need to grow them or take care of their health. So this is a lot of cases of children as well as elder people. When I see the elder people, I'll feel sorry for them, because if they have sons also, they won't take care of them properly. So they come with the stick, just walking, and nobody to care for their pain. So I feel happy when I see them, and the next day when they get relieved, they have a smile on their face saying that thank you. So that gives me a lot of satisfaction for me.
But not everyone is able to make the trip to Dr. Swamidas' clinic.
Some of the patients, they cannot come to me every time. So they need a regular dressing or regular attention for their illness. So I'll visit their houses, take care of them, and do their dressing. If somebody is injured, or somebody, if they have met with a snake bite, I have to go for their dressing, debridge their leg or the wound, and clean it thoroughly, and put a proper dressing. So every time they cannot bring me that patient to me, because it's a lot of expense for them for travel, as well as if nobody is along with the patient, she alone cannot come, or he cannot come to me. So it's better for me to go to them than they coming to me.
The work that Dr. Swamidas and Ravi are doing is very important. For the people in rural areas, medical help is almost impossible to find. But Dr. Swamidas' passion to help people goes beyond healing them physically.
Sometimes I go through E.G. White's book, where it is written that health and healing is one of the main ministry, because our ancestors or some of the prophets, they mainly are missionaries. Wherever they are, they establish two things. One is church, one is hospital, and one is education. So these three things. So equally, these three are very important in a Christian spirituality. So I selected health ministry, where I could treat them and tell them about the love of Jesus, how Jesus also healed so many, because Jesus also healed. So many people came to Jesus not to hear him, but to get healed. So this is how, which has a lot of impact on me, and this is the thing I choose to do.
All the amazing work that Dr. Swamidas is doing can be traced back to sponsorship.
Being a sponsored child, it always gives us a pleasure to help someone when we grow up. So that is how it has brought a great impact on me. Because if that sponsorship was not there, or they would have not helped me, I would have been somewhere in the fields working. So that is how the sponsorship had really changed my life.
As sponsors, the difference you make is not in just one person's life. You are empowering a person who then wants to help and empower those around them. What you give is not just an education or a meal. It is a gift that grows exponentially to bless tens, hundreds, even thousands of lives.
Child Impact is very excited that we could help Dr. Swamidas with an ambulance and also help fund a driver and its operations for the next year.
We are happy now that we have an ambulance sponsored by Child Impact International through Child Rescue Operations, and we feel it is a big blessing to have that, because not only for us to work with, but it is helping a lot of other people when the need as such, emergency cases. It has been a very big help, and we want to thank you we especially thank the team who has come forward, the donors, the sponsors who has come forward to help us to have this, so that sometimes we can make patients more comfortable taking them to higher medical centers and to the hospitals in the cities.
So I want to thank especially Child Impact International for being coming forward to help somehow to continue this ministry over here. Once again, we want to thank the Child Impact International wholeheartedly. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jean Boonstra, Associate Speaker at the Voice of Prophecy. Now, I'm sure that you're aware of the global problem of human trafficking. And in places in the world like India and Nepal, for example, this problem of human trafficking, well, it's very real. Not long ago, I was in India and I learned a little bit more about what happens in that area. Young girls are tricked, usually girls who are disadvantaged, maybe from a poor village or community, and they're tricked into becoming part of the sex industry and into prostitution. It's extremely sad. And these young girls, they're caught in a web and a lifestyle that they don't want to be a part of. But once they're in it, it's very difficult to find a way out. When we think about the problem of human trafficking, we often think about these girls, but it often affects young boys as well. Young boys in India, for example, they're caught and they're used for child labor. They're put into begging rings and they're often taken advantage of as well. And it's not just these young girls and boys either. This affects infants as well. Young babies are left on the side of the road, abandoned, with no one to care for them. Child Impact International's Operation Child Rescue addresses each of these three issues. They have an answer, a solution, and an opportunity to offer hope and a way out for these people caught in human trafficking. At Voice of Prophecy, we are privileged to partner with Child Impact's Operation Child Rescue to help these young girls that are caught in prostitution, the young boys doing labor at a very young age, and these young babies that simply need a home and someone to love them. It's our privilege to partner with Child Impact's Operation Child Rescue and be part of the solution to give that hope. Now, is this something that appeals to you, and would you like to learn more about and be a part of this? Well, I encourage you to get in touch with Child Impact International today. They would love to hear from you.
Hi there. Before you go, I'd like to invite you to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'd also like to encourage you to watch some of our other videos highlighting Child Impact's work for at-risk and marginalized children.